True art is that emotion that we as a painter bring to that two-dimensional surface. I always love being outside. I'm surrounded by nature. It was, the wind in my hair, free to leap and bound. With painting, that immediacy of being outside and seeing those things in its full three-dimensional form. If you learn to paint from life, you'll interpret your photographs better rather than just try to copy a photograph. So I always see the beginner painters, they want to copy a photograph rather than distilling it down to the essence of what's there and portraying the thing that true art is. Came across a mentor who had said, if you want to be a serious painter, you have to really stick with oils. And then during the recession around 2009, when oil painting sales were slowing down, I thought, I want to do something fun for me again. And I went back to watercolors just to play around, just for me, for my own entertainment. And I started having friends ask me, hey, teach me to do that. That looks like fun. Once I started teaching it and using that as my plein air tool, because I love to go paint on location, it's easier to carry around. I could leave that heavy oil paints behind and just take the watercolor gear and really lighten my load. And I started thinking of this thing that I loved. I wanted a lighter load. I wanted to free myself up to hike to further places and see beautiful vistas, but not be so weighed down that I was exhausted by the time I got to the great vista. So when my kids were still really young and I signed up for a life drawing class, and I looked to my right and that student had this full figured form that could leap off the page. Then, to my dismay, the teacher says, let's walk around the room and see where everybody is. And I could feel my face just burning in shame because I thought, I've only done a stick man. I don't even know how to get to that. And when she gets to me, before she could even say a word, I said, I want to know how to get from this stick man to that. Can you get me there? And she says, you stick with me and I'll get you there. I look back to that beginner painter and I knew that I had to leave my ego at the door. And I wanted this so bad that I just was willing to risk all that embarrassment. But she reassured me that you're fine. We all start at the beginning. And it was so nice to have somebody reassure me of that. So I find now that I want to reassure all my students that you're perfectly okay where you are. And wherever you are, you're going to grow from there. And just stick with me and I'll get you to where you want to go. So one of the things that I always really like to stress to my students is that this is all about you finding a way to best express yourself, not be the imitation of someone else. We take those techniques and then we make them ours. So I always tell my students, you may be a detail person. You may be a loosey-goosey kind of person. Find the ones that most make your heart sing, that make you really have that fun of like, oh, this is just me, and the things that you love to express. And don't try to cram yourself into a box and be, a photographic painter if you are loving loose stuff, or if you you love loose and swishy. Don't tell yourself that you have to cram everything in and be tight and finite. If that's not you, don't force it. Watercolor is like curly hair. You use the same techniques and you're going to get something different every day. We have to let go of our control freaky side. Watercolor is just different. It's not the evil bad child that people say, oh, it's so hard, it's this and that. No, it's just different. It's different than oil paints or pastels. And once you see what it can do, oh man, it's so easy to fall in love with. It's really cool.